Ready to talk some fights, Lazy?
I fucking guess.
You ready, Austin?
Yes.
Okay. Hola, amigos. Feliz el grito de independencia Mexico. Welcome to episode 68 of Just Speed Radio's Weekend Roundup. And you'll be pleased to hear that is mostly the end of my attempts to speak any Spanish. Quick translation. Hey up, you bleeders. Happy Mexican Independence Day. Welcome to episode 68 of the Weekend Roundup. I'm your host, DangerMouse, but I am merely 1/3 of this unholy MMA hosting trinity. I am joined as always by LazyBed and Austin, and we're coming in as hot as a plate of jalapenos to talk about two Brazilians fighting to celebrate Mexico's independence from Spain. Yeah, I don't understand it either. But we are getting straight into this UFC Noche card. We hope you'll stay with us all the way through, but we are not going to tease. We're coming in like a Mexican blackbird and getting straight down to business. And we're going to start with the main event. Just a quick reminder, though, to like and subscribe, help us get to 200 subs. Make sure you have that early party number for when Just Bleed Radio takes over the MMA world. We have some great interviews lined up and you don't want to miss them. So make sure you ring that bell too. Okay, on to business. Say what you will about the rest of the card, but this main event was something we were all looking forward to. Diego Lopes versus John Silva. Silva with a 5-fight finishing streak and a run of 13 wins, defending the honor of the fighting nerds against a hostile crowd who were wholly behind adopted Mexican Diego Lopes, who was coming in off a loss to featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski, with arguably the worst haircut in the UFC and tattoos that even Luke Thomas admits are terrible. So, make yourself a margarita, pop open a Corona Extra, top up your tequila sunrise, and let's talk some fights. This was a fight with draft implications. Lazy's most valuable fighter. So you might be expecting me to pass this to him, but I'm not, because this was the main event celebrating Mexican independence. So I have to pass it to Austin, the guy who we call our California can crusher, because his heritage does hail from those parts. Hopefully he won't be too critical of my Spanish. So Vato, how you doing? What do you have to say on this fight?
Safo. Your Spanish, español is bien.
Thank you.
I'm not very well versed in Spanish, unfortunately, but I did enjoy the intro, and as the native Latino on this crew, I enjoyed the event. I got to watch the main event live. I did have to go to the youngest football game. She is not a football player, but she was a cheerleader, so we got to watch her and the game at the same time. It was fun. So I only got to watch the main event live, unfortunately. But I'm so happy I did, because I enjoyed it from the walkouts to the announcements, which John Silva is a little psychopath that he is, gets weirder and weirder every time the intros get introduced, like, to him specifically. I felt uncomfortable for Bruce Buffer as he was kind of like staring him down and grabbing on him. Like, my dude, no. My bubble is my safe space, sir. Excuse me. But neither here nor there. The opening bell, I was surprised at the willingness of Lopes to just kind of not move his head and just kind of eat whatever got thrown at him. His punches didn't even seem to have a whole lot of power on them, but he just kind of kept a basic stance, a decent jab. And even then, his thing was, I'm going to take him to the ground and I'm going to smother him, which he did, because John Silva, for some reason, took very little issue with the striking department of Lopes and decided to spin at the wrong time and get immediately taken down, to which Lopes then dominated him for the majority of the round. You could have almost argued a 10-8, especially with the downward 12-6 elbows to the cranium, which John Silva didn't look like he was prepared for, nor did he look like he was happy or considering this as a possibility to the fight happening. He did get out at the end of the fight, at the end of the round, and his corner says, "All right, that was absolutely the worst case scenario, but you survived." I'm like, yeah, no, that was probably really bad, but 10-8, 10-9, whatever he scored it, he got out, he lived, he survived, and then proceeded to bludgeon Diego Lopes in the second round because Diego Lopes says, "Nah, fuck head movement." I'm just gonna keep walking forward. And then sure enough, like at some point, John Silva finally starts letting go and just starts loosey goosey striking, which was the thing that we all kind of remembered as the crazy part of John Silva. Like he's a fascinating little psychopath that he is. He has this serious notion of combat. You can look at him and think, okay, yeah, out of the fighting nerds, he's like the one dude that is capable of just fucking ending the fight at any given moment without like hesitation. He just looks at a guy and knows how to throw his natural ability to kill people at them, and they usually don't win. Like he'll win most of the fights that he does, even if he's not trying. That's the crazy part about him. But then you realize, oh shit, he is his own worst enemy because at a certain point he's throwing spinny shit, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to finish Diego Lopes. Shit, this isn't good. And all of a sudden, in a moment of beautiful irony, Diego Lopes throws this spinning back elbow as he's getting pushed into the fence, and John Silva walks into it almost as if I was watching the Yair Rodriguez Korean zombie fight again. And you see Diego just land it, just like a blade landing on a goddamn mannequin and just killing him. But he survives, and he's on the mat, but not really responsive. And then you see the desperate attempt to finish the fight from Diego Lopes, and the referee's allowing Diego to just bludgeon him because they're giving the benefit of the doubt to John Silva. John is like is there. He's trying. He's moving. He's doing the thing, but it's not enough. The ref calls it, and you could see John Silva come up and walk. Shaky leg. Acting like I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. No, you're not, my friend. You just got finished, and you had the fight and gave it away. Unfortunately, the little cheap shot afterwards, I kind of figured was like, okay, he's just getting emotional. It is what it is. He's an emotional guy. I get it, but it's not okay. You can't be doing that kind of shit, especially when you've been finished. If you wanted to finish the guy, you should have fucking won the fight. Oh well, but we're here. Great for Diego. I don't know if this is good or bad, but it keeps him in the title contention talk. And for John Silva, this isn't the worst thing to happen to him. It sucks because the fighting nerds needed this win, but hey, sometimes when you are in the sport, you will see the rise and fall of certain gyms. Sometimes certain gyms last longer than others. This isn't the end of the fighting nerds. This is just a bump in the road. If we can be honest about it, this was going to happen sooner or later. We've seen it to happen all other gyms. But the good thing about this is that in this sport, we get to see bounce backs, rebounds. This isn't the end of the fighting nerds. This is just a bump in the road, hopefully. And if they're good, they will bounce back and get back into title contention. But that is yet to be seen, and this is fairly new. So, congrats to Diego Lopes. Head movement is non-existent, but hey, when you win, you win. And for John Silva, it's not the worst case scenario. He'll bounce back. It's just he probably needed this loss, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, Lazy. And now it's my turn. Your tears can wait just a little bit longer. Don't worry. Don't worry. I just want to comment on a couple of things from the fight, ask a few questions. Actually, kind of Austin's already covered most of them. And plus, I might as well fill a little bit more airtime. First round, Lopes did almost get that stoppage with that early takedown while they were both very dry. And he achieved that very high mount to stop Silva bucking him off. And then, as Austin's mentioned, he was raining down the 12-6 elbows. We had DC making possibly his own only decent commentary moment of the night, saying that they were kind of a game changer. So I think that was actually a very good point. And then we had round two. Silva did look to be getting back into it. He was landing some heavy punches, throwing spinning elbows a whole bunch of times. And then he got over exuberant chasing Lopes and just ran into his spinning elbow. And he said, Lopes actually said they've been practicing that backstage. So I do wonder if we'll maybe see some footage of that. I don't know if Silva got overly emotional there, or was he concussed? I guess he was definitely concussed. But anyway, great performance by Lopes. I do wonder when he'll get another title shot. I think Lerone Murphy is going to be up against Volkanovski. I guess if he beats Volkanovski, he might be able to get a crack at Lerone. And what's next for the fighting nerds? I do not, and Austin's just mentioned this, I do not recall seeing a team climb so high so quickly and fall from grace with equal speed. So are they the modern day Icarus of a team, finally flown too close to the sun? And I'll pass it over to Lazy now. Let's hear from our man.
Oh, first of all, let's clarify that this is just one loss apiece for these guys. Like, let's not jump to these fucking grandiose fucking fucking claims that they rose so high and now they've fallen so far. They had some wins, some small win streaks, and they've each suffered a loss. I think maybe we can blame certain media outlets and things like that that have taken them as a team and hyped them up and made them this huge story. And I'm not talking about us, but they storylines have developed around them in their gym as being this undefeated juggernaut, and that was never truly the fucking case. Most of these guys weren't undefeated to begin with. They had suffered losses already from members amongst their camp. So every time they tried to classify this gym as being the elite of the elite gym of the new millennium, you know, the goalposts kept getting moved and we kept changing the qualifications. So they were never fucking world beaters. They're just a fucking a team of good guys that can game plan well. They found success with it. Now, three of their members, their I guess core members, have each suffered successive losses. It's one loss apiece. It's not the end of the world. So it's kind of, you got to find a middle of the road on this. You can't be like, you know, oh, they were the greatest gym ever, and you can't also be like, oh, look at how they've fallen from grace. Like, this is just the fucking ebbs and flows and the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys of MMA, and this is how things pan out. So that's my take on that aspect. As far as the fight itself goes, man, it, the bottom line of this one is you fight like an idiot, you're going to lose like an idiot. And John Silva, while able to harness his emotions most of the time and able to kind of tap into that the dog that's in him with the barking and the erratic behavior and the hanging on the cage, like usually he can harness that and usually he can use that for good. But that sort of fighting style and that sort of mindset in a cage fight is only going to get you so far. Sooner or later, that's going to bite you in the fucking ass. Everyone knows it. Like otherwise, Mr. I See Red would be the guy that's the champion in every division if that's all it fucking took. Like it takes a little bit more than just having a crazy side of you. And I think that yesterday we saw what happens when that fucking crazy side's just not enough to beat a guy. And this is proven and it's stated word for word by Jean Silva today on social media on his Instagram as he shows a fucking video of his lumped up head and his black eye and his big laceration. he said word for word what they've all three suffered in the last consecutive weeks has been an inability to follow through with what they're being told. Each one of these guys has disregarded the game plans going into their fights. And Kaio and Rufy didn't really admit to that or say that. I didn't see them come out and say this anywhere. But John straight up said it. Like I was disregarding my corner. I was not listening to the game plan. I wasn't following what we had set up for fucking weeks leading up to this. I got in there, I got emotional, and I started fighting outside of myself. And you know, I'm not going to take anything away from Diego because clearly he fucking knocked the ever living shit out of Jean with that elbow, and he beat the guy up and made him look like fucking Mr. Potato Head afterwards. So you can't strip him of any credit in this win. But at the same time, Silva fought like a total fucking donk. He fought like an idiot in there. Like, why are you throwing 3, 4, 5 fucking spinning attacks and none of them are landing flush? None of them are having your desired effect. I don't. I can't believe that that's what they trained in camp and that's what he was told to do by his corner. So that's just something he decided of his own volition that he was gonna, try multiple times in there and fail at. So for the most part, I think he just fought like an idiot. I think he got too emotional and he let that craziness that's in him that made him this hot commodity and made him as successful as he was. He took it too far, and this is the kind of thing that happens. And look, this was very very similar to what Lerone Murphy did to Aaron Pico. John Silva basically let Aaron Pico'd. He had Diego up against the cage, was pursuing too hard, was coming in hot. Diego read it, bam, spinning elbow, puts him fucking down with it. It wasn't as flush and it wasn't as clean, but it's the same fucking concept. It's the same strategy. Use your opponent's forward momentum and their constant pressure against them, and it fucking worked. It really, and to touch back, and this is the last thing I want to say on this. Touch back on Lerone Murphy real quick. He's the happiest fucking dude in the world. Like, he was cheering for Diego Lopes like no other last night, because so long as Diego got the fucking win over Jean, his shot against Volk's pretty much sealed and set in stone. If Silva had won last night, we could be talking about some different storylines here today, the morning after for the championship. But being that it ended the way it did, Lerone Murphy seems to be all set up for this next title shot against Volk if he wasn't already.
Yeah, that's a nice comparison with Lerone Murphy's spinning elbow and Lopez's, the circumstances that they happened underneath. Okay, enough of the main event. Time for the co-main, which was a drop down to bantamweight with fan favorite Rob Font versus Mexican hopeful David Martinez. Martinez started it, making great use of his kicks, especially the side kick. Easily outscored Font to a rate of 3-1 if the if the UFC stats were on point. Although the heaviest blow of the round was landed by Font. We were chatting before the show, and maybe Dominic Cruz might have wanted to give him the round for that single blow. But in the second round, Font changed up his game. He started adding kicks to his attacks, and he picked up the pace. He was pressuring forward, attempting a few takedowns, but Martinez just showed absolutely great takedown defense. And then the third, I said Font picked up the pace, but it turned out that Martinez, I think, had just taken a breather because he completely took over again in that round. And that's the round you'd expect a veteran to come through on. But it was Martinez. He rocked Font at the very end of the round. And then even though the crowd attempted to give him a little bit longer by drowning out the ending buzzer, because I don't know how long it was before Dan Mergliotta realized the fight had ended and stopped it. Stopped what I guess was technically a whole bunch of illegal foul blows. If you wanted to count them all as foul blows, you could technically. No argument from the judges, all giving it to Martinez. And spoiler alert, bringing it to 5 wins for Mexico. If you went with main card minutes Mexican parlay, I think it came in at something like plus 18,000 or something like that. So that would have been a nice bet to have made. I guess I better patch Lazy in first on this one, seeing as I tormented him so much on the first fight.
Well, at least neither of you mentioned that I should have only got 5 points from this, but I did luck out and get 15.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
that's such bullshit.
To be honest, I was waiting for Austin to mention it, and then I was going to jump on him and say that it wasn't, but because it was posted in the Discord beforehand, no, his mistake was avoided. That's what I was looking for when I found that other post about how good the fighting nerds were doing.
Well, I have I'm still firmly in the lead, bitches. Come on.
We'll see how many we'll see how many nerds you pick next year, shall we?
Yeah, really, exactly. Really. We're getting close to the end, my friend. I am trailing not too far behind. So is Dave. Mouse has got one big one. We're waiting.
Yeah, my goal is not to come last.
All right. Well, yeah. Co-main event. Well, here's my big thing on this one, ladies and gentlemen who did not know. You just finally got to know, and you got to get introduced to Dr. David Martinez, aka the Black Spartan. I've seen a lot of people really doubting this guy coming in. Now, I know Rob Font's a veteran of the game. I know he's tested. He's been up and down the road multiple times. And he's seen a wide variety of fighting styles. But Rob Font of today is not the Rob Font of yesterday. He's not the Rob Font of 2 years ago. You could even say he's not the Rob Font of 6 months ago. The guy, he's aging rapidly, and he's an active bantamweight, and bantamweight is a division where you quickly age out. When your time comes, it comes fast and it comes hard, pun intended. But like you could just kind of see the time of Rob Font being an elite fighter in this division, or even an elite gatekeeper, is kind of coming to an end. A lot of people were giving him too much credit coming into this fight. And I think they were discrediting David Martinez a bit too much because a lot of people aren't familiar with this guy and they aren't familiar with his game. And I think a lot of people know him and his sister, Melissa Martinez, Super Melly, as primarily strikers. But what struck me in this fight mostly was the wrestling defense and the anti-grappling of Martinez, and his ability to negate the attempts that Font did make, the few attempts that he did make, which I think he should have made more of, to grapple and to mix in some wrestling into this and make this more of a mixed martial arts affair. Accepting large portions of this fight taking place on the feet, I think was a big mistake for Font. Martinez comes from a Taekwondo background, very well versed in the stand up and the hand to hand combat, and it showed. The footwork, the speed, the ability to skirt out of situations, not get caught along the cage. Martinez showed it all, and for a guy who now moves up to 13-1, only 27, bright fucking future ahead. Very smart individual. Clearly, he's a fucking medical doctor, but not just book smarts. Like he's got cage smarts, and I think you were able to kind of see that. Like he fought a savvy veteran, a guy that should have been able to find some ways to capitalize on deficiencies that Martinez may have, and Font was unable to do it. And I'm just really happy for David Martinez. Was really happy to see him come out on top, get the victory. And probably one of the coolest things was afterwards in the post-fight press conference backstage, one of the media members asked him if any fellow fighters ever reach out to him for various tips or health advice or medical advice. And he said, yeah, actually, like a lot of fighters do reach out to him for medical stuff. And he said one of the main things that he would like to do after he retires from fighting is becoming a ringside physician and being the doctor cage side, helping these guys out during the fight. So I was like, that's pretty fucking cool to like go full circle, doctor, fighter, fight doctor. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. I hadn't heard that. Austin, what do you want to say on this one?
I mean, I picked Martinez, but I thought this might have been a step too far for him because, like, tell me not. This is like a big step up for him, competition wise, right?
Yeah,
and it's not like
huge.
Martinez has been fighting for like 20 years or something like that. Like Font is older, but Font's a veteran for a reason. Like nobody just finishes that guy, and he's been fighting the best for a long time. I just kind of figured that Martinez might have just edged out, but like Lazy said, like he said everything perfectly. Like the dude came out with a game plan and executed it as he needed to. And Font tried his veteran savvy, tried to cut off the cage, tried to keep up his boxing as best as he could. And you could see that Font is just, he's not there at the elite level anymore. And he's still capable. And he gave a great effort in this fight. It's not like Font wasn't like, winning at certain aspects of it, but you could tell Martinez was just in control from the minute the bell sounded. And the truth of the matter is that Martinez is showing that this is why you do these veteran fights with newer prospects, because sometimes the veteran will win. But more often than not, you get this kind of result where it's not like a complete ass kicking for against the veteran, but it's a great showing for the younger prospect, telling everybody, hey, this is a guy to keep an eye out. This is a guy to watch. This is a guy to come and see regularly because he's doing this against a guy who is supposed to be better than him. And great for Martinez. I thought he did excellent. I liked everything that he was doing. I can't wait to see him fight again. And hopefully he does become a ringside physician because fuck knows these fighters usually aren't going to look after themselves better than he would.
And tons of credit to him too, because he took this fight on short notice. This was supposed to be Chiwiwi's, but Chiwiwi's fell
Yes,
out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
agreed.
so Mark, I mean, even more credit to the youngster for stepping in there, looking this good against a vet. Just a really good showing from him.
Yeah, and double thanks from myself and Juniper for avoiding chiwiwis.
Yeah.
Okay, upper weight class next at lightweight, Rafa Garcia versus Jared Gordon. Fun fight, some very technical striking from both guys. The judges split on the first round, but not the second, with Garcia getting a knockdown and landing some vicious ground and pound and leaving Gordon with a nasty gash on his head. He did adjust his striking to exploit Gordon's attempts to get the takedown by switching to throwing elbow strikes as Gordon ducked in. Then at the start of round 3, the live odds were actually minus 250 to Gordon for some crazy reason. I don't exactly know why. He was definitely in the fight, but I don't see him as winning it at that point. But Garcia decided not to leave it in hands of the judges. He landed a very nice, short, straight right that crumpled Gordon, and then he followed up with some more ground and pound, which very quickly became a choke attempt that Gordon escaped, and that we finally went back to ground and pound with the ref stepping in as elbows rained down on a stunned Gordon. Another win for Mexico. And I don't know who wants to take this one away.
No, I mean, what's there to say? Gordon was doing good until he wasn't, and then even then, it was more of it was Rafa's fight to lose. So, like, looking at the fight, you could tell Gordon's been through the ringer a handful of times. Like, if you look at his record, he's had some tough wins and tough losses. I mean, hell, you could argue that, like, had he not been cut, he might have been capable of like pulling himself together and winning this fight on a better note, because he dropped Rafa and Rafa dropped him at the end, but still, like, he was competitive in this fight, and it's not like Gordon's just a pushover in this division. He may lose to some of the better guys, but he's a guy you have to keep an eye out for. He drops people regularly, and he's not like a guy you put away in the first round usually. But to the point of the fight, it's, Rafa was in there. He's been looking good as of late, although he's had some stumbles in the UFC. This dude is capable. He still needs some seasoning, possibly, working on a handful of things, because he did leave himself open a handful of times. I mean, he was fighting the grappling, but him just kind of like putting a stamp on this fight, you know, for a lesser version of a hometown crowd, but still, it's good for him. I just think if we're looking at a guy who's capable, I'm not going to say he's going to go from a title run, but he might be like on his way to a top 15 ranking if he continues to look good. This is lightweight. It's a Shark Tank, so he might just get his ass kicked by the next 3 guys right behind him. But, but it looked good. It was a fun fight. I had fun watching it, and shout out to Gordon. He fucking tried, man. But like, damn, like him getting dropped at the end, surviving just to get bludgeoned after that. Uh, it's tougher than I am. That's for sure. I mean, Rafa was good. It was great performance for Rafa. Jared Gordon is a tough nut to crack, but he's getting up there as far as damage is concerned. So I would like to see him take a step back, maybe closer to the lighter end of lightweight. No pun intended, but we'll see. We'll see.
Lacy, what you got to add?
Oh man! All right, yeah, this is my fight that I might have actually the most to fucking say about, but I will try to keep it brief. Um, well, first off, did you guys hear the story of this fight? The story leading up to this fight that broke after and during the fight.
No.
Okay, well, yeah, let's just start there. This fight probably should be overturned and investigated. It probably shouldn't have happened. And it shouldn't have been legal to bet on if the claims are to be believed. Bilal Muhammad, who is a close friend of Jared Gordon, which is a weird friendship if you ask me, but nevertheless, Bilal Muhammad tweeted that Jared Gordon, the day before this fight, he was hit by a car.
What?
On foot, apparently. While he was on foot, he was hit by a car. Did you notice that knee sleeve Jared Gordon had on in the cage?
I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, Jared Gordon had a knee pad on. Well, apparently the reason he had that knee pad on was because he got hit by a fucking car the day before. And he injured his fucking knee, and they somehow weaseled their way into still competing in this fight. Now, that doesn't harm anyone but yourself if you're Jared Gordon. But that's something that really, really should be disclosed and really should be known by the medical commission. And you probably should have competed in this fight if you just got hit by a fucking car because people all around the world had fucking money on this fight through a variety of sports books. And we've run into some issues in the last couple of years of guys fighting injured, knowing they're injured, and coming into fights with injuries, coming into fights compromised, and the outcomes of those fights being heavily affected by these injuries that are occurring beforehand. Now, if you notice, if you go back and watch that fight again, if you happen to want to go back and watch it again, Jared Gordon can't plant off of his fucking right leg where he's got that knee pad on. I believe it's the right leg. He can't plant his fucking leg. He can't push off that fucking leg. So, Rafa Garcia, nice win, but it comes with an asterisk because you were fighting a fucking hobbled man in there who hid his fucking hobbling from the fucking commission. So this is a whole controversial issue in and of itself. Let's set that aside, though. I don't really like Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon's kind of a piece of shit if you know anything about the guy in his personal life. I'm not a fan of the fella. Don't like a lot of the things he says. Don't like a lot of his values or the things he stands for. He's kind of a piece of trash. So I'm happy for Garcia. He deserves this. I hope he gets some of the shine from it. As long as this comes out and this victory gets overturned or these results get changed or God knows what might happen from this. But I hope that Rafa Garcia gets some shine from it. And Jared Gordon, you're a piece of human garbage. I think you got what was coming to you. So shout out referee Kerry Hadley, who let you eat 6 unanswered elbows on the ground. Take your fucking face. Eat shit, Jared Gordon.
Jesus Christ. Lazy spilling the tea and the back. Oh my God, dude.
It was so nice to see him bloodied and maimed and fucking battered on the fucking mat.
I did not pay attention because I had the commentary turned down after listening to the ramblings of DC and Dominic Cruz. So I did not hear that at all.
Well, I can only imagine putting my hard-earned money down on Jared Gordon, to get a victory here because I genuinely think he's the better fighter. And then I come to find out he came into the fight after getting hit by a car.
Yeah, that's
Thanks,
crazy.
buddy.
We know fighters lie all the time to the commissions, otherwise they wouldn't come into the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like the day before. There should have been somebody watching, but maybe they did it pre, and he still just was like, "Whatever, I'm gonna just rough it out." That's not good. This isn't good for the UFC, and this is like the second time in like 2 events that I think that we've heard injury stories break. Right?
His own arrogance bit him in the ass because he thought I'm going to be a tough guy and I could beat this guy with one leg.
Oh my goodness.
Or maybe he just needs the money.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
They all need the money.
Don't we all?
Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this.
All right, let's move on from that one then. Up next, we have what should have been a middleweight bout, but was turned into a 191-pound catchweight fight because one lazy fat bastard, a former welterweight too, just to add insult to injury, couldn't make 186 pounds. Gastelum missed weight by 5 pounds, and reportedly that cost him 35% of his purse. So he reportedly earned $421,000 for his last fight. So based on that, he lost, well, I'll go to US measurements here. That's 22,158 Big Macs. Now, I know Kelvin missed weight, but not by that much. And numbers, as you may know, sometimes intrigue me. And as I'd worked out that 22,000 number, I thought I'd take it a step further. I based it on a 12-week camp. And to consume that number of Big Macs, he'd have to eat around 9 per hour. And I don't think even Kelvin and Paddy Pimblett could manage that between them. So, yeah, expensive thing. I did work it out. It's about $29,470 per pound that that weight miss cost him. 4,431 Big Macs in that case. So what? I love carbs. So yeah, Stolfus, win or lose, was going to be dining out well the evening after the fight, and he lost, of course. And I cannot tell a lie, Kelvin moves pretty well for a bloke that looks like a living barrel. Round 1 was given to Stolfus, despite him bleeding all over Kelvin. What's that damage rule, anyone? Only Judge Chris Lee, who I'm normally very critical of, gave that round to Gastelum. Then round 2, Kelvin managed to hit that 1-2 that he loves so much, stunned Stolfus, and then with about 90 seconds to go, he dropped him. And then in a moment of fight IQ failure, he goes down to the ground, and although he didn't lose the round, he completely gave up the advantage and actually looked in danger of being finished himself. Complete brain fart that was. Is this the man who makes a better international unit of temperature than he does a fighter? Thank you, Kim Bong Il. Round 3, Kelvin showed his pedigree and brought the fight home. And what can we say about Kelvin? The guy is liked by the fans. He missed weight here, but I believe I actually believe it was a short notice fight. He is now the undisputed king of 191 pounds. But other than that, what can we do with him next? And let's hear from. I believe it's Lazy to hurl some abuse at the fat guy this time.
I know exactly what we could do with Kelvin Gastelum. We could fucking cut his ass. We could cut him and get him the fuck out of here.
Against fight Brian.
Yeah, send him to fucking PFL. You know, we've been discussing it. Everybody's been discussing it. Send him to PFL. Let him face Brian Battle in the first leg of next year's light heavyweight tournament. Brian Battle versus Kelvin Gastelum at 205. That's the plan. But no, seriously, dude. Like, is Kelvin Gastelum a fan favorite? Is he really? What has Kelvin Gastelum ever really done? Outside of the Israel Adesanya fight, what the fuck's this guy done? And this guy's been living on that fucking Israel Adesanya fight for damn near a decade now. If not a decade. Close to it. Let's just say first off, I don't know if he wins this fight without that weight miss. Without that extra weight that he had on him, I don't know if he absorbs some of the shots that he took, although he's notorious for his chin. I don't know if he takes them as well. I don't know if he handles getting hit as flushly as well. I don't know if his shots have as much impact as they did on Stoltzfus. It puts so many fucking questions into the atmosphere and into the equation because although this was a catch weight, Stoltzfus had cut down to the weight that he needed to be. He had put his body through that extra trauma and he had put himself through that extra wear and tear. Like he depleted himself that much further. He went the extra lengths that Kelvin didn't go to. And as we know, this is not the fucking first time Kelvin has done this. This is his modus operandi. This is his main fucking way of going about fights. And shout out Dom Cruz, who said, Kelvin Gastelum, he comes in 5 pounds under, he comes in 5 pounds over. It doesn't matter. When the fuck has he ever come in 5 pounds under? Never in his goddamn life has he ever come in 5 pounds under. This, I don't know, man. I can't imagine them keeping him around. He's getting paid a pretty fucking penny, and he's not providing them any value. He's causing them more headaches than he's bringing them anything positive. So I can't imagine they keep him around. Yeah, he's a fan favorite, quote unquote, to an extent, but it ain't like that, buddy. And this Contender Series season, we got new blood coming in. We're cutting off the fat, literally and figuratively. It might be time for you to go. But anyway, let me get back on topic here just real quickly. Probably for me, the most entertaining fight all around of the night. And that's a shame because of all the circumstances surrounding it. It's also not a compliment to the card because this wasn't that great of a fight. So for it to be probably my favorite fight of the night, that just shows you, man. Not the best of that. Stoltzfus, I felt like he should have really used more teeps, more body knees, just general body kicks, that sort of thing. He was finding success with it, and then he just kind of let it go. I don't know what the deal with was that. Like, some reason he just stopped doing it. Then I think you might have mentioned it briefly, DangerMouse, the brilliant IQ by nearly 30-fight veteran Kelvin Gastelum to drop Dustin Stoltzfus with a 3-piece and then jump a guillotine and end up on the bottom. Just fucking top-tier IQ from a guy who's almost had 30 professional fights. So disappointment on both ends for both these guys for me. And I hope to see Kelvin Gastelum in a different promotion near you sometime soon.
He's an ex-tough fighter, isn't he? That's probably why he's popular with the fans.
Tough winner.
Yeah, okay. Well, as you've interrupted there, Austin, you might as well take it away.
What can I say that a disappointed father figure wouldn't have said to his disobedient child. I would like to find the words that are encouraging to Calvin, despite Lazy's brutal takedown. But if I'm being honest, I too am also disappointed because Calvin was an Ultimate Fighter winner, man. He almost beat Adesanya. As my voice cracks, trying to be joking about it, but being kind of serious that this guy actually, I don't know, he used to be good. He used to be good, now he's not. I don't know. Like, dude, if there was ever anybody who had never lived up to the potential that they could have been, it was Kelvin. And Kelvin was a competitor at 170, missed weight a handful, like once or twice. Unfortunately, you know,
Now I'm at a middleweight, and I beat Bisping and Jacare, and it makes me want to stay up here and be roly-poly.
it's interesting to think about too because he's only 33, I think. And as somebody who's been doing this since I think it was like 2014 that he started his career. It's been interesting to kind of see him play out being a top elite welterweight to a relatively less efficient welterweight to a guy who jumped up to middleweight just because he didn't want to cut weight, who beat a handful of names. And whether you want to say they were aging out is another story, but this guy was like capable, has, some ups and downs, and, finds himself in an interim title fight, probably the highest point of his career, and like excluding the Ultimate Fighter win. Like that dude went to war with one of the best middleweights of the time, if not, probably the third, second best middleweight. But like that was it. He hasn't shown up since then. Matter of fact, he's kind of just been a mere shadow of himself. Lazy said it best. Like this dude basically just kind of has been shitting the bed lately, and not even in a funny way. Like he's been missing weight almost on purpose half the time because he just doesn't seem to care. And on top of it too, he's no longer in shape, and you can see it. The one time he went back down to welterweight for a short period, he tried and said, "Fuck it, I don't care." The biggest problem for me is that I used to cheer for this dude regularly, and I saw that he was capable. We're pretty close to the same age, and it was one of those things where it's like, oh, well, if he could fucking do it, and stay dedicated to shit, I could fucking stay dedicated to just, whatever. And now it's like, fuck, man, the sport eats you up, chews you out. It doesn't need your help to ruin you. You are the one who is supposed to be capable of putting yourself first. If he is, this is a bad way to do it. It probably doesn't help either that he opened up a food channel for YouTube. So, and, hey, he might win a fight or two. He might get some viewers off of it. But I mean, the story of this fight is not that he won. The story of this fight is the wasted potential of a former title contender. That's it.
Yeah, it's a
End of
shame.
story.
Yeah, it's a shame. There were moments of brilliance I saw in there with him, moving out the way of Stolfus's punches, etc. But next, or technically before, we had an intriguing fight at lightweight: Alexander Hernandez versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. Ferreira, the favourite with the bookies. We had a very close first round with the majority of the X crowd that were watching scoring it for Carlos. I didn't see Aaron Bronstetter's score, but he's our marker for these things. And then the second round, we also got from X the stat that Hernandez has a habit of getting KO'd in the second round. But this time, in his fourth win in a row, it was his turn to deal out a nasty KO on Ferreira. It was a right hand that sent Ferreira crashing to the canvas. And then Hernandez rained down ground and pound from an elevated position. I think it was about 7 or 8 mostly undefended blows as the ref adopted the if he dies attitude, really letting Ferreira go out on his shield. Not a good look for the ref, Jeff Rex Road. I fancied Ferreira for the win, but I went tactical on this fight and ran with the MK Discord for Hernandez. I did choose Carlos over on Topology. Sorry, Street 1234. I really wanted that Survivors League championship. And with that, I think it's... Who is it? Is it Lazy? I think it's Lazy to go now.
Is it?
Is it lazy?
Sure.
I don't know. Someone
think-
go.
I thought-
Someone go. I don't know. I've been busy watching fights all day and trying to get this shit together. And I had to learn Spanish for this episode.
Well, yeah, I will go, even though I think it's actually Austin, but I'll go because what do you know? Me and DangerMouse, we basically take the same fucking notes. This happens all the goddamn time. We're really gonna start cross-referencing these. You said it, man. Look at fucking Alexander Hernandez here. You know, 4th win in a row. Tough thing to do at lightweight, especially a tough thing to do a lightweight at his age because he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's not the oldest guy, but he's not young anymore. And he's a guy who's had tough times. He hasn't always had the easiest go in the UFC, whether that's suffering ill-timed losses or dealing with tough weight cuts and issues with what division he should be in, things of that nature. Like, he's had a pretty rough go of it, and to be finding his stride kind of at this point in his career, it's nice to see. It's a good thing to see. And like you also said, this guy has had a weird kind of not so great history with the second round. And this goes credit to Sean Sheehan on X. He had lost by KO 3 times in his career. All those were in the second round. And this also happened to be his first ever second round finish. So he broke a couple of different curses here, getting this win. And for Diego Ferreira, again, he's just kind of one of those guys that I fear he's aging out. He's 38 years old now, I believe. Always been kind of a guy that relied on quick twitch muscles and reflexes and things of that nature, and that's starting to kind of slip from him. And this was yet another situation where you got a guy rushing in and you have the opponent that ends up getting the victory, catching them kind of on a pull strike. And it was just a little small fucking shot here that put Fajeda down. It wasn't anything, major. He didn't swing from his hip. He just caught him just right, coming in, clipped him, and then finished up, like you said, with those vicious, violent fucking ground and pound blows. And yeah, it's kind of it sucks to see an older name like him, kind of losing his fastball, if you will, but still potentially some fun fights, left on his contract, because I don't believe that he's up yet. I think he's got a couple of left. So see how that shakes out for him. What kind of young guns they likely put him up against now, because he's probably just going to be used to build some names. And then for Hernandez, possibly some big things on the future. He called for a Michael Chandler matchup, and while I don't know that fight will happen, that wouldn't be a bad fight for Chandler, and it certainly wouldn't be a bad fight for Hernandez. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, maybe on the White House lawn. Austin, seeing as I believe I might have robbed you of your chance to go first on that one.
It's all good. Hernandez is a psychopath because he was in that movie where he had cut up in his chest and then dropped ink into it. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Mark Wahlberg. Never mind.
What? No.
I don't know if you remember the thing he did. The thing he did where he's like playing up the whole aspect of the Mark Wahlberg character from that movie. But anywho, he's an interesting case for combat sports in the day and age of which we live, where a guy who just stumbles onto the UFC lightweight division the way he did, takes out possibly 2 of the top 15 in his first 2 fights, then meets Donald Cerrone and gets his ass whooped. And brutally.
So,
I mean, it's fighting. Things happen. These things happen in MMA. And the thing is that like he had struggled trying to find his footing since then. Like Lazy said, he had been down at featherweight. Whoever advised him to do that, like, don't ever do that again or should be fired, because like he had no business being a featherweight. He was a lightweight, even if he's on the smaller side. He's still capable as a lightweight. It shows. Because yes, Diego Ferreira was 38, but this is his 4th win in a row. He gets 2 more, he might be looking at being ranked again. If he gets another one, he might be looking at a top 5 fight. but we're not there yet, obviously. And again, the matchmaking might screw him over. He might not get somebody that he deserves, but somebody that they ask him to fight backwards, which can happen. The worst part about this is that this division is super deep, man. Lightweight is a fucking shark tank, like I've said. And like the crazy part about it is that we could see Hernandez probably get a good matchup next, and then that dude kills him because lightweight is just fucking insane. But the sad part too is that Diego Ferreira was winning this fight very, very clearly in control because Hernandez just wanted to set the one trap. But Diego forgot the basic rule is to not fall into habits. What did Ferreira do? He kept chasing, was having a hard time kind of keeping him, Hernandez, in one space. Hernandez used that to his advantage, just like the last couple of fights he's had. He's just let people come in, boom, because he still has power. And that's not going to go away anytime soon. He's still capable. And there's a part of me that thinks the Michael Chandler fight is the one fight that gets him to a ranking, if we get there at all. So, hey, if he gets it, fucking A, dude, I'm more than happy to cheer against Michael Chandler in any given day of the week, even if it is for discount Mark Wahlberg. So, that's the thing. So I am looking forward to that if that is a matchup. If not, hey man, he's on his way up. It's about damn time he gets back up to being a ranked lightweight because we need more of that, and especially guys with momentum. Is he going to be good? Who knows if he's going to get back there or not? He's got time. Unfortunately, Diego Ferreira does not. 38 years old in the lightweight division, despite having 2 finishes prior in his last 3. Unfortunately getting finished as well after coming off of injury and whatnot. I don't foresee him being in the UFC much longer. But who knows? I would like to see him get paid well for sure. But we're in the era of the UFC where it seems that good fighters usually don't get what they deserve.
Real quick, last 2 things I want to say about this fight. If you remember, Hernandez just fought Chase Hooper 4 weeks ago. So he's staying fucking active. I mean, 2 fights within basically a month span, 2 impressive, finished stoppages, and both basically in the same fashion. And then this was the fight where Dom Cruz watched that finish and said, "Wish I was given that opportunity."
Oh my God. Thank you for reminding me. Dude, like Dom Cruz just wants to watch fucking people die because he still can't let go of the fact that fucking Keith Peterson, quote unquote, robbed him of his opportunity. And he's constantly saying, yeah, just stay the fuck out of it, refs. Like, I just want to go in there and die. It's like, motherfucker, like, get the fuck over it. You lost. It is what it is. If you want to go back and continue to fight, fine. Ask for fucking Dan Mergliata to let you fucking die in there. Herb Dean is more than willing to let you fucking die in there. Fucking Mike Beltran just might actually let you die in there if you want that. Dom, do you want to die in the cage? Is that what we're doing here? Does someone need to watch you? Because that feels like that's what you're always fucking talking about. Because you've never let it go, you piece of shit. Also, fucking A, dude, like just because you fucking punch one person at the end of the fucking round doesn't mean you fucking win the fight. You cause a cut. That's not the winning thing in the fight. God damn it. Like, what are we doing here, Dom? What are we doing here? I'm sorry. I took over the rant. My bad.
All right. Well, the opener for the main card was at bantamweight, Santiago Luna versus Quang Lee. The most important fight on this card for me. The MK Discord Survivors League was at stake. It was down to myself and Street at this point, and we picked identically down to this fight. And yes, as I said, I'm already said I employed some tactics here to get this one, but it wasn't looking good at the start for me. It looked very dodgy when Lee clipped Luna with a left hook that momentarily dropped him in the opening seconds of the fight. But it was about 2 minutes later that Luna got his revenge because he landed a left hook of his own that hurt Lee, and then Luna just piled on the pressure with a barrage of blows. And although Lee did try to get it back into the fight, it was another left hook that sent him crashing to the canvas. And then a single hammer fist had the ref jumping it in to stop it. Very nice win for a Mexican fighter, for a Noche main card opener. And I'd like to dedicate my Survivors League trophy to him too. Oh yeah, and he picked up a 50k performance bonus. Well done, Santiago. So he had Austin, I believe it's your turn now.
Yes, after you robbed me of the first one.
Yeah. I've given you
But
a nice Mexican fight win. What are you complaining about?
you know, you are. The only thing you're missing is some tequila and a beer, but that's fine.
Well, as I was
Apology
telling,
accepted.
as I was, as I was telling Dave before you arrived, I'm actually sipping on the tequila sunrise that I made for this show.
Oh.
God, nice. You got to post it when we get this thing rolled out. But no, man. I mean, hey, it's a hell of a way to make your debut by getting dropped, and then coming back to win the fight. Because Luna, man, he's the goods. Like, he looks like a guy who's capable in this division, despite getting dropped immediately by a guy who has kind of been like up and down in this division for a short period of time. He's kind of been like hit or miss, but has been like defiant in that aspect of just like, I'm here. I'm not going to try to just give fights away, which he hasn't. He's actually tried to finish. And Luna, to his credit, being the younger fighter, just said, fuck it. I'm going to just make sure I'm not going to give him another opportunity. He did get hurt one more time, I believe, by a kick. And then he decided to kind of push the pressure against him as taking the center of the cage and looking to land a counter, because you could see him kind of like lining up. And then when he landed that left hook, just boom, immediately changed the entirety of the fight. And Lee was never able to get back into commanding position, and then just suffered two more knockdowns right after that. That's how you make a debut, especially in this division that's full of killers already at 135 pounds. You need to stand out. And this guy, I'm not going to say it just yet. I think it might be Chewies, but that's just me. That's just me. I don't know if this is I'm not saying anything definitive. I'm just having an opinion. I'm allowed to have that. But I would like to see him eventually get matched up with Chewies. But again, we're not there yet. Chewies has unfortunately pushed past that. And we'll see. We'll see. Luna is a guy who I like as a fighter. He looks like a guy who's capable. And hey, welcome to the UFC, my friend. Good job.
Yeah, apparently he said he was going to win in the first round. If I'd seen that interview, I would have picked him for the first round. Lazy, anything to add on this one?
Yeah, a few things I could say. Well, first off, like you guys were both just saying, or like you both just said, Quang Bang Lee, he lives up to his name. And that first round really showed it, because he did have success early and often in that first round. He starts fast, and he's most dangerous by far in that first round. And although this didn't get out of the first round, it seemed like Luna he found the tempo of the fight. He found the grooves and the creases to find his success in, and kind of, in a sense, although this was such a short fight, outlast Coining a little bit. And it's tough, because I really like Quang Bang Lee. I think he's a fun fighter to watch. He's a very TV friendly fighter. His style translates very well to broadcasts, and it's fan friendly. But like Austin kind of said, he's had a bit of a tough start and go in the UFC, and he's likely one of those fringe guys that's could face being cut at any moment, especially in times and days like now. But Luna, man, Luna is a phenomenal prospect. 21 years old, undefeated not only in his pro career, but also as an amateur. So the guy's never tasted defeat. He doesn't even know what it's like to fucking lose. Just 21 years old, and only recently turned 21 years old too. So that's even fucking crazier. His birthday was just last month, beginning of August. Calls himself the Border Boy, so he's got a cool fucking nickname. Clearly, willing to crack some jokes at himself and poke some people's I don't even know what to call it, but he's able to poke fun at himself, and that's a cool thing to have. He's a fun young character, clearly a bright young Mexican prospect, or a Mexican American prospect. And yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how they book him going forward, because it seems like you're gonna want to kind of insulate a talent like this. You're gonna want to raise them along the right way. And we know that they have a tendency to not do that. They have a tendency to really throw guys to the wolves and fuck up the whole evolution of their careers. So Will they fuck up Santiago Luna's career, or will they build him the right way? Remains to be seen. But I think he's a really fun young prospect, and I'm excited to see who he gets next.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a minute, I guess we'll talk about what else you guys found worthy of mention on the card. But we really should shout out the opening fight, which was the tough finale at welterweight. Rodrigo Cezinado versus Daniil Donchenko. This was a very nice, violent opening fight that I actually missed and had to rewatch today. Donchenko timing Cezinado's looping punches and just countering with very, very nasty short elbows, one of which cut Cezinado open, and that caused a brief stoppage for the doc to come in and take a look. The fight was allowed to carry on, and Daniil ended up getting a nice finish. Became the Tough Series something or other champion. I don't even know whose team he was on. But anything else from that card? Any fights you want to talk about, guys? Whoever wants, take it up, take it away.
Lazy, you go pick first.
Let's bring up the out in Korea versus Alessandro Costa fight.
Good fun.
Yeah, good fun fight. Really fun prospect. Alden, I know him from his time down in Fury, I believe it was. Came into this one a pretty heavy underdog, and then had himself a hell of a performance. But the real talking point of this fight was the way that it ended. The strange, bizarre sequence that ended it with the apparent injury to the feet and the toes of Alessandro Costa. I've heard. I haven't watched it myself, but I've looked back at some messages from people that have viewed it, and apparently there's some speculation that out in Korea may have been the one that caused the toe injury to Costa via some small joint manipulation, which is very illegal in mixed martial arts. But there's an exchange where Costa's on his back, has his feet up in the air. Korea's standing above him and kind of has his hands on his feet. And there's a few frames prior, the foot is fine, and then a few frames after, it's suddenly injured.
Ooh, interesting.
So I'm not sure what exactly went down there. I don't know if that's going to be looked at by any sort of governing or sanctioning bodies, but just a very strange way for a fight to end. But I'm still going to give all credit to Alden because I think that he's a really fun fighter. Training out of the 4 Ounce Fight Club down in Houston, Texas, one of the main training partners of Joshua Van and other fighters. So kid's got a bright future, a fun flyweight to watch out for. So yeah, keep your eye on that dude.
Austin, anything other ones you want to talk about?
Just real quick on that one, was it not the cage that his foot was in? And it was his left foot, right? That's what I thought. At least that's what I was seeing, because it was like he was doing the thing that all fighters do, where you kind of wedge your foot into the framing of the mat that meets the cage itself, the chain link. So I'm thinking he might have moved and pulled his toes by accident when he was getting taken down. So I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I just think I thought the idea is that he kind of injured himself by accident and then
Yeah.
was told to try to continue like an idiot and still tried to continue. And you could see him immediately like regretting his decision. Like
There is a good possibility that was the case. I've just, like I said, somebody posted some screenshots and they were suspicious of it. I'm not so sure, but I'd have to go back and look.
yeah, because that's what's like, okay, if the dude literally joint manipulated his toes, and that's fucked up. Why would you, especially the pinky toe, man? Like, come on, we've all stepped on a fucking Lego. We've all stubbed our toe, which is why I say, if I've ever told you, I hope you stub your toe, it's because I mean it.
Yeah.
but like, it's not. That's kind of fucked if that's the case, and I hope that's not the case. That's why I'm kind of hoping it is just, hey, he kind of tried to do the thing where here he's trying to secure his balance and positioning with the toe being inside of the seam almost, and just unfortunately it didn't play out well for him. That's what I'm hoping for. As far as the two fights I would like to address, Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. Honestly, like, I'm more disappointed that Lemos didn't push forward because I felt like it was her fight to lose and she lost. Like, don't get me wrong, Tatiana's still capable of wrestling because there's not much else she can fucking do. Like, you know what's crazy is that the last 30 seconds or last minute or so of that fight reminded me of the fight where she was fighting Nina Nunes, or formerly no, no, no. This was it's a good call, but this was reminiscent of the fight that she had with formerly Nina Ansaroff, Nina Nunes now, where she was just getting bludgeoned in the last like minute or so of that fight, and that's where she also injured her neck. And that's the thing where it's like she looked that last minute or so of just not really pushing the pace, just trying to find the one thing she's good at and commit to it, because she's not a great striker. She's a decent wrestler who has this ability to overmatch her opponents in physicality. And that's not wrong for her to just take advantage of that, but she almost doesn't have anything else to add to that repertoire. It's like you're looking at her just kind of muscle through Lemos, and Lemos is like, all right, fuck it, dude. I'm not going to try to, I'm just going to bide my time, and you're not going to really do too much to me. And she got out a handful of times. For some reason, decided to go back in at the end, but still managed to nearly finish Tatiana Suarez. Like, that's the thing that's frustrating, is that, like, I felt Amanda Lemos being the older fighter, I'm like, I picked her. I'm just taking a swing because I think she can finish Tatiana. Tatiana's still capable, but she is nowhere near a title fight anytime soon. It's just she's the same person, hasn't done anything new, and is still trying to consistently be this wrestler when she can't just survive as a wrestler, especially now. The other thing too is that Pereira, I forget her first name, but Pereira, Alex Pereira's Elise Pereira. Thank you. I have not
not
been...
his sister, by the way. Not his sister.
Oh, okay. Okay, just like making sure.
That's Aline Pereira is his sister. It was much older.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I was mistaken. I was thinking that this was her sister. No, but she is just a 19-year-old who has decided to take part in MMA and kind of looked like she, for some reason, just was going to win off of counter striking. And the thing I found interesting was that she put forth this effort that seemed to be not about maturity. It was about, I can't believe I have to fight somebody and I'm not already fighting a top contender. That's what the attitude I got from her was. And the older fighter proved to her why you can't just walk in and just beat everybody or think you're going to beat everybody. You have to prove not only to the rest of the crowd, but to yourself that you can beat everybody. It doesn't matter if you think you can. You're going to have bumps in the road. This is probably good for her in the end, but this was one of those performances where you're like, okay, she's tall for the division, but she doesn't really have too much else that you can count on. And she struggled in a dogfight. That's not good, because when you're facing the elite and you're in a dogfight, half the time you have to just hope that what you're doing is going to work and just make sure you have that self-belief, because she could even figure it out half the time herself. It comes with experience and consistency. She should learn, but we'll see. Hopefully she bounced back in a positive manner and we see her again soon.
Yeah, I will say, if you want to see a good women's fight, go and watch Chanel Dyer from Dana White's Contender Series from last week. I forget who she fought, but that was an absolutely fantastic fight. You will know.
4-0 was the girl's name. Foro. I can't remember her first name.
Yes, thank you. That would make sense. Yeah, okay. We may have changed things up ever so slightly on this episode, but we're still going to rate that card. And I think Austin has to go first, just because all the Mexicans won this one.
Woo! Viva Mexico. I'm going to just say, like, I didn't watch this fight card live. I only got to watch the main event, but live, and I had to come back and watch it. I enjoyed it. I know some of us didn't, and for various reasons. I'm just going to say, we will leave that to a later discussion. But for what it was, I enjoyed it. Even some of the less entertaining fights. I'm just going to say it's a 6.5 for me, only because I couldn't watch it live, and I still really enjoyed the card. So 6.5 for me.
Wow, stunningly low. Go on, Lazy. Let's hear from you.
Oh, man. Well, let me just preface this by saying that I like the Noche event. I love the concept. I'm a big fan of the theme. I like when they do these sort of events where they highlight whatever it may be, or they cater to the home crowd and they bring in the pomp and the circumstance and the costumes and the different tail of the tape graphics, and the lower thirds are themed to the card. Like, I love all this shit. Like, I really enjoy this. I enjoyed last Noche. I enjoyed the first one. When they went to where's the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, and it was kind of like the sphere light, and they worked with the graphics of the stadium. Like, I really enjoy when they do stuff like this. So I had high hopes coming at this. And for the event to get moved from Guadalajara, from a brand new arena that was supposed to be just completed prior to them hosting this event, to San Antonio, Texas, that was strike number one. To lose several of the bigger fights, or at least the more intriguing fights that were supposed to take place on this card, Chi Wee-Wees, etc. Norma Dumont was supposed to be on this card with Raquel Pennington, which, whether you like women's bantamweight or not, was a bout with title implications. Like, they lost several fights. That's strike two. And then strike three for me, they mailed this in. They completely mailed this event in. The card wasn't lined with Mexicans. It was far from it. It wasn't headlined by a Mexican. It failed to deliver from a fight fun standpoint. The fights were enjoyable enough, but I wasn't clapping or applauding or saying, man, I can't wait to talk about this fight tomorrow. Not a single one of them struck me that way. And then you top it off with the fact that this all happened because the majority of their focus was elsewhere. It was on a boxing event that, in and of itself, really wasn't that impressive. So it's just kind of an all-around. This weekend felt very UFC-ified. And by that, I mean, it felt very cookie cutter. It felt very stamp it out and just fucking produce the same content over and over again, and here it is, and take it and just fucking deal with it and lap it up and enjoy it. And it didn't hit me the same. It didn't, the feels weren't there for this event. So basically a long way of me saying that this was very mediocre. It was very run of the mill. And I think on a whole, I would give the entire weekend of UFC TKO events at best a 5, right in the middle of the road, a 5.
Youch.
Not affected at all by the main event of the UFC.
No, really, honestly not. Honestly not.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Okay. As you've both said, the atmosphere of that place was amazing. All the lights and everything. I didn't massively enjoy it when I watched it live, I will be honest. I'd had a few beers, all the rest of it's late at night. I did kind of enjoy watching it a bit more when I rewatched some of it today. In fact, I watched all the main card today. I'm not going to be as ungenerous as my two companions, but I'm not going to rate it as perhaps as highly as I might have done. Main event was fantastic, but other than that, there weren't that many great fights. So I will just go for a Siete. I hope I've pronounced that right. I hadn't rehearsed this one beforehand. Siete.11, 7.11.
Yes, that was pretty good. That was really good. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is bien.
Bien, good. Other than that, do we have any other news? I've seen Dakota getting lots of gifts from Nike. They'd be one hell of a sponsor for my girl. I do believe there was some boxing shenanigans, but I know that we're hoping to talk about that with Brian Campbell next week. Oh, and former UFC Cuban experiment Yoel Romero fought in BKFC, I believe. So anything, guys? Anything you want to bring up?
Yeah, I could real quickly. I could bring up a couple of things. You just touched on one of them. Yoel Romero's debut at BKFC, caught that live. Was as impressive as I thought it would be, but then again, he did fight an absolute cab driver, a total fucking can. No clue who this guy was. He looked like he didn't even want to be in there, and he fought like it as well. More game than I did imagine, because he did make it to a second round, but in the end, Yoel did fucking Yoel Romero things. The guy's a physical freak. He's a mutant for his age. Knocked him down several times, eventually got the stoppage win. The first knockdown absolutely cracked me up because he punched the guy direct square on top of the fucking forehead and set him on his ass. You don't often see a guy with his fucking head down and he gets punched in the fucking crown of his forehead and he goes down. So that cracked me up. And then real quickly, I also should mention Gable Stevenson. Briefly got to mention earlier, but made his mixed martial arts debut in LFA. Also fought a total can, but looked pretty impressive. Got a nice ground and pound stoppage. Had John Jones in his corner, which was something. But just, yeah, keep your eye on Gable Stevenson, obviously, because we're not getting top flight athletes in the heavyweight division. So to have a guy that even has a small interest in competing in heavyweight MMA, that's a fucking godsend, because Tom Aspinall needs all the opponents he can get, and we need all the fun guys that we can have to possibly watch at that division.
Is Boney trying to go for a proxy win then, 10 years in the future?
Yeah, probably.
Train up the guy who might beat Tom Aspinall sometime 5 years, 10 years from now, whatever. Austin, anything extra you want to add to this one?
What can I say?
Latest from Nina Drama, anything?
No, not Nina Drama. Not Nina Drama. No. I think I don't know if we're gonna total character break. I don't know if we're doing a scuffle or not, so I don't know if I want to go into the things that I want to talk about or not.
I've no idea. We're doing a scuffle after or not? Yeah, I can wrap this up in like 2 seconds. Then I just need to get a drink.
Yeah,
I really have run out of something to drink.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right, I'll just wrap it up. Okay, that's about it then. If you've made it this far, hopefully we deserve a like, or even better, a subscription. Thanks for listening, and there is no UFC next week, but we'll see what we can rustle up. Until then, it's adios from me, DangerMouse. Adios. It's adios from Lazy.
Adios, amigos.
And it's adios from Austin.
Estén bien, muchachos.
And Dave's obviously not here, so that doesn't work out at all.
No, I didn't know. I thought I was supposed to react to something special. I don't know.
No,
Goodbye.
We did it! Yeah!
we'll definitely end that one there. I hope you're going to put your own fuck up in this one, Dave. That was hilarious.
We gotta keep that in. Please. Oh my god.
I definitely will copy of this, please, Dave. Unedited version.
Oh, fuck.
Don't forget, Dave, if you're still there, remember to come in at the ending bit.
Is it me you're looking for?
We'll find out if she's there in a minute.
No one who...
There's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball.
Somebody talking to me. I had to step away for a second.
Oh my god.
Plan on murdering me in my sleep?
What? No.